Welcome to our program, Educating Today's Student. Today's topic has to do with test anxiety, and my guest today is Ms. Bethann Durlin. And how are you today, Mrs. Durlin?
I'm fine, thank you.
Oh, great, thank you for coming. We appreciate it. Now, you work for the Student Success Department at Full Sail University. Tell me a little bit about your position in your department and your educational background in dealing with student disabilities.
Okay. I hold a bachelor's degree in elementary education and a master's degree in school counseling. And I've been with Full Sail for 10 years. I'm the director of the Student Success Services Department. And in that department, we focus on providing support for our students with special needs, whether they have learning disabilities or any other disabilities that affect their academic performance.
Wonderful. Can you tell me a little bit about the specific disabilities that your department deals with on a daily basis?
Absolutely. We deal with all types of disabilities. Some of the more common disabilities that we see are ADHD, attention deficit disorder, dyslexia, anxiety, test anxiety included, mental health disorders, autism spectrum disorder. So those are the biggies.
Tell me a little bit more about test anxiety in the classroom in particular.
Okay, test anxiety is very, very common, and what makes it unique and difficult to identify sometimes is that sometimes it's just not diagnosed. They will describe it as a fear or being afraid of taking tests, or they're just bad at testing or bad at test taking. So in their minds, it's not an actual disorder, and so they often don't seek help for it.
Now that has to be frustrating for not only your students, but your department as well.
It really is, because when students don't think they have a disorder like anxiety, they don't understand that it can be fixed. And if they ask for help for it, then we can help them with strategies to use in the classroom and some behavioral techniques that can help them reduce their anxiety. But if they don't know they have it, they don't know to ask for help.
Right. Now, what exactly does test anxiety look like to a student? I mean, how would one differentiate that from, say, any other type of anxieties?
Okay, test anxiety manifests in several different ways, but there are two main areas that you would recognize the manifestations. One is a psychological manifestation, which affects the student's ability to think straight. Obviously problematic in a testing situation. And then the other main division of manifestation would be physiological, actual feelings, physical manifestations such as shallow breathing, profuse sweating, a headache, a stomach ache, those types of things that we generally associate with nerves.
Now, obviously, teachers aren't qualified to deal with the psychological manifestations that have to do with test anxieties. Now, what can educators do to help alleviate test anxiety in the classroom?
So actually, teachers can play a big role in helping students overcome test anxiety. I would say probably the best way to help a student feel comfortable and not go into that sort of fight or flight response that test anxiety causes is to develop relationships. Start with developing relationships with your students as a teacher. The better developed your relationships are with your students, the more approachable you are, the friendlier you are, the more comfortable they feel with you is going to translate to every time they step into your classroom. They're going to feel that comfort. They're going to feel that it's a safe haven for learning. Their minds will be open. They'll be relaxed.
Now, obviously, test preparation, classroom preparation, proper materials can help alleviate test anxiety manifestations as well, correct?
Absolutely, yes. A teacher's methods with reviewing material and helping students prepare for tests will make a big difference in lessening their anxiety during test-taking time. The more comfortable a student is with the material, the more naturally it comes to them, the more rote it is for them, the less chance they have of drawing a blank when that anxiety kicks in during the test.
Now, multiple intelligence has been a catchphrase that's been thrown around in education for quite a few years now. Tell us how an understanding of the multiple intelligence can help alleviate things like test anxiety.
Anytime you can tap into a student's comfort zone with learning, and what I mean by that is their specific way of learning. When we're talking about multiple intelligences, we're talking about a student's specific way that they learn best. Anytime you can tap into that, not only in testing and assessment, but in teaching the material, in access to the content. If a student is a really strong auditory learner, then let's deliver that content in all of the auditory ways we can think of, and help them access that in the way that works best with their brain. Likewise, it doesn't make sense then to assess them in a different way that maybe isn't their strength. They've learned it in an auditory manner. Let's test them, let's assess them in an auditory manner. So if we can customize tests and assessments to suit a student's learning style, a student's type of intelligence, then we're really giving them the best shot at showing what they know.
Besides educators being more personable to the students and making them feel comfortable in the classroom and understanding multiple intelligence, are there anything we can do with, let's say, the classroom itself to make it a more testing, anxiety-free environment?
Sure. A comforting environment is something that, you know, if you step out of the education model and look at retail models or business models, you know, people put millions of dollars and a whole lot of effort into making their spaces for their clients comfortable. And really, when you think about it in education, as teachers, our students are our clients. And so when you're designing a classroom space, you want to think about what's going to make our client comfortable, what's going to make them want to be here, what's going to make them feel safe and at home and at ease when they come into our classroom, which is our office, right? So the more comfortable we can make them in the classroom, the more comfortable they'll be, the more at ease they'll be, the lower their anxiety level will be. So things like soft lighting, music, sometimes that'll work with some students. You know, you have to sort of know your audience. When a student enters the classroom, or when your students are entering the classroom, just to be, again, just maintain that friendly nature, that soft-spokenness, that, hey, we're ready for this test, we're going to do great today, and really kind of pumping them up without making them edgy. So yeah, any of those environmental adaptations are going to be helpful as well.
Thank you, Bethann, for being our guest here today, and it was very, very informative. Great information on helping us alleviate test anxiety. And thank you very much for being our audience today on Educating Today's Students. Thank you.